Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm back at it again with another video. Yep, I just woke up to the news also. Rampage just got canceled. Alright. So, let's read the article, get directly into it. I know the information already, but just to give full context to stay charitable and be good faith about all this, link is down, as always, in the description box below. AEW Rampage is coming to an end. The AEW stars have been hard at work over the last several days as the company has been recording multiple shows at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. The special AEW Dynamite on 34th Street was taped on Sunday, December 22nd, and AEW also recorded what appears to be the final edition of AEW Rampage for the time being. Fans who attended the taping said that Tony Khan stated it was the final Rampage taping for the foreseeable future, in quotations. It's unclear at this moment whether Tony Khan intends to bring the show back at some point in the future, but AEW Rampage looks to be officially canceled for the time being. The episode was pre-recorded at the Hammerstein Ballroom on Sunday, which will air on Friday, December 27th. AEW Rampage made its official debut on TNT in August 2021. Since then, AEW has introduced a third show, Collision, which airs on Saturday nights. Rampage's future has been in question for some time now, with it being rumored that Rampage and Battle of the Belts were not included in AEW's new agreement with Warner Bros. Discovery. It's also been speculated that AEW is looking at a new show called Shockwave, but no official announcements have been made. And just for a little bit of clarity, just to highlight again, trying to be nice as much as possible before I break this down. On August 20th, CM Punk made a record-breaking debut on Rampage, drawing 1.1 million viewers. And Christian Cage defeated Kenny Omega to win the Impact TNA Championship at the time on its first episode, just to kind of highlight some of the things that were significant with the show. And then they sit here and they say things such as, however, the event has experienced a number of significant obstacles as a result of its timing. Rampage's popularity dwindled as it faced competition with NBA, NHL, and March Madness programming in the 10 p.m. time slot. When All Elite Wrestling announced their record deal with Warner Bros. Discovery earlier this year, it also mentioned the possibility of discontinuing Rampage coverage, and finally, the time has arrived. I mean, I wouldn't use that as an excuse. Also, I mean, they keep saying things such as, that's such a stupid fucking argument. I'm never going to get over that. I say the same thing about WWE also. It's such a dumb fucking argument, bro. You can acknowledge all day that these shows are better than you, but it's not like in the past when you had the same coverage for these sports programs. It's not as if WWE, for an example, in the late 90s weren't still healthy. They were still healthy. And I'm pretty sure the same thing can be said in the 80s also. I could talk about the numbers in the 90s because I know how they looked like. They stayed in the 90s in particular. Going into 2000, they stayed in the 6s. They stayed in the 7s. A low for them would be 5s, which would be record breaking nowadays. They were healthy at the time. Hell, even going as late as 2018, they stayed in the 2 millions around that time. The lowest that they would get would be something that would be considered regular viewership numbers right now. And even then, probably nowadays peak numbers inside, say for example, 1.9, 1.8. And that was like, what, maybe 3-4 years ago at best? Same streaming technology, same everything. Professional wrestling, as far as its popularity, is on the decline. Now, granted, with WWE, it's a little bit more difficult because now we're going into the Royal Rumble season, so there's a good shot that their ratings are going to shoot back up again and their viewership numbers are going to shoot back up again because it's WrestleMania season. They're different. AEW, they don't have that same equity. Sorry, that's just the truth. But that's not what I want to get into. So, all this talk from the AEW fanboys in regards to Rampage and Collision and AEW Dynamite and, oh, it's a boom period in professional wrestling, right? All due to AEW and them popping up on the scene, even though both WWE and AEW, at least at this very moment, both of their numbers combined can't even reach what Raw did back in 2019, but we're in a boom period. How about all the lies from AEW fans? More in particular, you know what? No, because you guys are delusional marks. In the end of the day, most AEW fans, the ones who are loyalists like that, they're just soldiers in this war. Let's talk about the general for a second, Tony Khan. Let's talk about Warner Brothers Discovery. And let's put 2 and 2 together for a second, all right? So before I do anything, I would like to go over, let's go 2024. Let's be good faith about this. I'll leave the link down. I always love leaving this chart. Hate FIFO. Don't fuck with Sean Ross Sapp. Credit where credit is due. They did map out this chart to let you know the ratings throughout the entire fucking tenure of the companies that are associated with AEW. I'll leave the link down. You've seen this link before. Look at this. Look at the entire 2024. Look at the entire 2024 of Dynamite. The highest viewership number of the entire year looks to be 891,000 views. That's the highest viewership number this entire year. 891,000. 891,000. That's the best viewership number they did this entire year. Get this. The second biggest number they did this entire year for Dynamite, because I'm painting out a picture for a second, is 837,000 views. I just want to remind you guys, that's the second biggest viewership number they got. I still remember to this very day, back in 2022, somewhere around the middle, maybe towards, I want to say, like, man, I'm trying to think to myself. It could have been like around May, or it could have been around June, around those 2 months, because I know that happened when I got into that whole fucking trauma with my ex-girlfriend. But my point being is, it was like around the springtime of 2022. They got like around that same number, 837,000. Let's just say it was between 825,000 to 850,000. It was around like June, probably May, probably around like maybe even late April. Let me say that, probably late April, early May. They got a similar number to that 837,000 number. And I made a video about that at the time saying, look at this, because it was one of their lowest viewership numbers that they ever got at that point since the whole, separation of NXT and WWE, NXT and Dynamite going head to head in 2021. Ever since they separated, that was like one, if not their lowest viewership number since that point in time. It was something crazy like that, like in the, again, like 825,000 to like 840,000, around that. That was their second biggest number in 2024. Their second. I was ringing the alarm bells. I was siren the how would you say, is it siren? Signaling, whatever. I'm tired as fuck right now. Signaling the alarm, ringing the bells, all that shit, all those fucking cliches, saying, hey, look at these numbers right here, bro. They got 833,000. These motherfuckers right here are declining. Now, granted, I think they bounced back a few weeks later, or those upcoming weeks. Actually, those upcoming months, they bounced right back. But my point being is, we were sounding. Holy shit, there we go. We were sounding the alarms at that point in time for the second biggest viewership number of the year this year. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Look at these numbers, bro. Look at these numbers throughout the entire tenure of between March 27th. Between April 17th, after the CM Punk episode at Wembley. Look at all these numbers between April 17th going all the way down, bro. Look at these numbers trending more and more and more. And then ever since November, it looks like they're their actual number now is between the lower 500,000 to the middle of 600,000. That's their bracket right there. The lower 500,000 to the middle of 600,000. They haven't gotten anything above the middle of 600,000 since October 2nd, and that was in the upper 600,000. So let me see if I just want to see if I got a basic understanding for this, right? So those are the numbers that are trending. They're trending down for Rampage or for Dynamite, right? That was the numbers for Dynamite. Now, I want to look at Rampage for a second. Now, mind you, I'm in 2021 right now. I'm in 2021 Rampage. Make this make sense. So, as stated, the debut episode for Rampage overall was 740,000. Okay. But it was the CM Punk number, 1.1 million, right? People forget that. Sometimes people think like the first dance was the first ever episode on Rampage. No, it was the one before that. The one before that was the first ever episode. CM Punk's debut with the first dance, that was the second episode of Rampage. People get that confused sometimes. Look at the numbers as they decrease. As a matter of fact, don't even mind the decrease for a minute. These numbers in 2021 are very, very, very similar to the numbers that AEW Dynamite are currently getting right now. Rampage numbers in 2021 look very similar to Dynamite numbers right now. And then as you scroll down, look how bad it gets, bro. They just decrease more and more and more and more and more and more until it gets to the point where you get in 2024, they're just staying in the 200,000, 300,000 range. And then look at this, bro. Once you get around, what is this? Once you get around August 2nd, they just stay in the 200,000 range. They got like 327,000 views on September 20th. But for the most part, all this is 200,000, some even 100,000. I think the latest episode got 177,000. YouTuber numbers, bruh. YouTube, to be quite frank, Dynamite's getting YouTube numbers right now. Make it make sense, though. I need to understand the consistency here from the AEW fanboys. I need to see what you guys are talking about as far as what are we doing here. So let me see if I understand this. Rampage is on the verge of getting canceled. Well, it is canceled. It's done now. It's kaput. It's over, right? But Dynamite, which is looking like it's doing the exact same pattern, granted at a slower pace, but the same pattern as Rampage, but they're not dying. But Rampage gets canceled even though Dynamite is clearly heading in the same direction. They're not changing the pace of anything. The creative, and I use that in quotations, the creative is exactly the same, while the trajectory is pointing downwards. And you're trying to sit here justifying to me that the company isn't dying? How does that make any sense? If Rampage and its pattern is suggesting otherwise, what I see is Dynamite in the same pattern. Correlation does not cause causation. I'm just using the correlation as a comparison. For what it's suggesting is that Dynamite is going to end up being like Rampage. And if Rampage is canceled for doing these numbers and Dynamite is heading down that same path, unless something drastic happens in the future, I'm speaking as of right now, so if someone sees this video a year or 2, 3, 4 years later, understand the context is talking about right now. Currently at the moment, it's December 23rd, 2024. Okay, you're watching this video somewhere in March, April, May of 2027 or some shit, and AEW somehow, some way explodes in popularity. Understand the context is what right here, right now. What I see is Dynamite by definition dying, right? The consequence of Rampage being canceled theoretically is because the viewership number is lagging, right? That was, I don't know what was promoted or proposed and whatever contract deal as far as that package deal is considered that's going to kickstart in January. Maybe it could be something as simple as Rampage is now considered a dead show. No one cares about it. No one wants to watch it. And TBS wants to do more episodes, but Tony said, no, we don't want to do any more episodes. We don't want to do this. It's draining resources and the viewership numbers are low and we're embarrassed by this number. Whatever the case may be. What I'm suggesting is, though, if that's your thought process, let's just hypothetically say that's the thought process. Let's just say that TBS, for an example, has nothing to do with this and this was all Tony Khan's doing. He doesn't want to fuck with Rampage anymore. Then what's with the new show? Shockwave, right? The logic doesn't make any sense. So get rid of one show that was an unproven commodity. You start Collision. That fails. And then you start another show after two failed. I don't get it. Both shows fell miserably, and you start a third show. While Dynamite is currently lagging in the viewership numbers. That's why I'm not really understanding the whole prospect of this is a Tony Khan idea. The only thing I could possibly think of is that Rampage has a certain energy behind it. A lack of energy. Something that people see as just a complete failure and they just don't want anything to do with it in regards to association. And he wants to start anew on Shockwave. And Collision is not going to be the new Rampage. But again, that makes no sense because you have two unproven commodities that did the exact same thing and you're going to follow in the same footsteps. That's a waste of money also. That's a waste of resources also. Just focus on Dynamite. Then I can understand that perspective. But again, the numbers suggest anything from what I can see. Yeah, from what I can see, it's dying. But by definition, it's dying by definition. But then they'll sit here and they'll gas everybody up and they'll gaslight everybody and they lie to them and they tell them things such as AEW right now. They're a profitable company. I guess by default, you got that contract. Question is, that contract that you got with TBS, who's benefiting more in regards to what is stipulated in the contract in itself, monetarily speaking? Because again, make no mistake about it, the money that Tony Khan is getting for TBS to fund this whole expenditure is to kick back to TBS. Because again, $170 million, not necessarily a drop in the bucket, but it's not something that's completely unfeasible for the Khans to afford. You know, that's probably like, if I had to guess, maybe just throwing out a guess here, probably like 1% of their entire, or maybe close to, maybe not 1%. I'm probably, actually not too far. Because if I'm just going to go off a number here. I think they're worth $10 billion, the Khans, right? I should probably look that up actually before I just say that. I'll put Chad Khan's net worth because he's going to get money from Tony Khan. I mean, Tony's obviously going to be funded from Chad. Even though I could say Tony's net worth, Chad's going to help him out also. Chad Khan net worth. Let's see. Hold up. Net worth. They gave me New Yacht. What the fuck? Chad Khan's net worth $13.3 billion. Okay. So he's worth $13 billion. Let's say, for an example, 13, or let's say 13.3, 10% of 13.3. Wait, where's the fucking percent button at? There we go. Looking it up right now because I'm too lazy. Okay, so that's about 1.3. Of course, I should have fucking knew that. I'm retarded right now, folks. So essentially, that's like what? Just Chad Khan's money alone, that's probably like 2%, close to maybe 2 to 3% of his entire net worth plunked into AEW. That's nothing. That's nothing. That is nothing, bro. At all. We're talking about essentially him spending nearly, what, $2? If he had $130, he spent $2. I'm just saying. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the bullshit. They're dying. They're absolutely dying. Don't let their fans tell you anything else differently. They're dying. All the bullshit in regards to the contracts, everything in regards to the net worth of the company, the proof is in the pudding. Patterns suggest otherwise. They're dying. That's not me. That's just called evidence. But hey, if you guys want to argue against that, by all rights, come in the comment section below. And mind you, I'm not here dancing on the grave of AEW or anything like that. I get angry at some of the shows and I say stupid shit from time to time. But in the end of the day, no, I don't want anything happening to AEW. When it's all said and done, it's a net negative if they were to be deleted or the company were to go out of business. In the end of the day, no matter what I say, it could be out of anger, it could be jokes. It is a net negative in the end of the day. But this is just more of a reason for Tony to get on the ball. Just get on the ball, bruh. Get on the ball and make the right decisions for your company that you know you have to do, but your fans keep holding you back because in the end of the day, they think that wrestling is going to be what saves wrestling. When in reality, what's going to save wrestling is going to be professional wrestling. And sorry, kiddos, professional wrestling is more than just the in-ring action. But like I said, leave it up to you guys in the comment section down below. As always, my name is Devontae. Don't forget, links are down in the description box below. Don't come at me with your bullshit when I said the same thing that I'm going to say in the comment section, most likely, as per usual. Catch you guys later. Adios. Oh, and by the way, just letting you know, there's a good shot that I might not be back until Thursday. I'll see how it's gonna go, unless something like crazy breaks like this news. For an example, because I work all day tomorrow, and then Wednesday is gonna be Christmas Eve, or no, Wednesday's Christmas. Excuse me. So there's a good shot I might not be back till Thursday, but I'll keep you guys updated. Regardless, I'll be typing in the community post, but ignore this post if you're seeing this years later, okay? Just go with the flow. Catch you guys later. Deuces. Peace.